Welcome to Boot Rivals, the Handsewn Moccasin matchup between the iconic Russell Moccasin Company and the avant-garde Yuketen. More specifically, we have a vintage bird shooter versus the Maine guide boot. Russell Moccasin was born in 1898 and has been handcrafting boots for hunters and legends in the outdoor world for over a century. Ruggedness would be an understatement with these boots. They're built to last generations while being as practical as ever. Founded in Berlin, Wisconsin, rather far removed from the moccasin mecca of Maine, the company catered to the country's burgeoning commercial logging industry before the outdoor community took notice in the early 1900s. Yuketen, on the other hand, is an upstart in comparison, with Yuki Matsuda establishing the brand in 1989. With the fascination of American heritage fashion, he created the brand to mix his Japanese sensibility with traditional Northeast American footwear, the Handsewn Moccasin. Located in Maine, where he can leverage the knowledge and skill set of many established manufacturers, he firstly sold to the Japanese local market, where the brand's exotic look and materials found a natural home. But by the early 2010s, those well-versed in trends and fashion started taking notice of the brand Yuketen. The matchup will be broken down into 5 rounds, where we can further analyze the boots in detail. Those rounds being style, construction, finishing, comfort, and value. Round 1. Let's talk style. Russell moccasins are little changed in decades, and that means a truly classic Americana look. This particular pair is made of French veal calf leather, which takes an otherwise utilitarian look up a notch, but regardless of the high-end material, Russell moccasin boots make you look like you're ready to tackle a trail or go hunting. Whereas these Yuketens are about bold, fashion-forward boots, combining the traditional Native American footwear with leathers like Chrome XL from Horween or Snuff from Opera in Italy. The outcome is truly special, with a captivating silhouette that is sure to draw attention. With an unquestionably innovative design, I objectively have to give Yuketen the nod for this round. 1 point to Yuketen. Round 2. Construction. These Russell Mocks are the only double-layer moccasins manufactured in the world, and with the offsetting seams, heavily oil-infused leathers, glue, and wax stitching, these boots are the most waterproof moccasins a person can buy. The mock toe seam is revolutionary in its own right, as the overlap seam you see here was invented by this company way back in 1910 and is the most sturdy construction method when affixing the vamp plug to the vamp of the moccasin. These are just a few of the reasons why these boots are able to be passed down through multiple generations. But this durability doesn't come easily. With a boot almost completely hand-stitched, multi-layered, and hand-lasted, each pair will take more than a few working days to manufacture. Yuketen's moccasin boots are also hand-sewn with similar manufacturing times as Russell, but don't have the multi-layered moccasin construction, but do usually come with a molded outsole, a vamp lining, and a plug liner as well. Instead of lug outsoles like the Russells, the Maine guide boots usually come with Vibram crepe outsoles. And instead of a smooth moccasin footbed like in my bird shooters, the Yuketens try to capture the insole feel of a traditional boot by Blake stitching in a leather insole, foam heel pad, a leather tuck, and a steel shank on top of the moccasin footbed. What doesn't appear in these boots is a heel counter, unlike my Russell's hand-molded oak leather heel counters. Though both of these boots are labor-intensive and borderline exhaustive boots to manufacture, the bird shooters are a clear winner in terms of construction. Here's Russell's first point of the matchup. Round 3. Finishing. Handcrafted products can be known for their bespoke, high-quality nature, but they're still made by humans, and humans can be imperfect at times. I can tell my Russell moccasins are built to last. They're built to function, and not necessarily meant to be the most gorgeous boot in existence. When it comes to panel stitching or the hand-sewn area, there will likely be variances from one boot to another, or even from one side of the boot to the other side of the boot. The apron can sometimes not be evenly cut after hand sewing is done. I've seen boots with molded outsoles coming up higher on one side of the vamp than on the other side of the vamp, and in varying degrees of accuracy and eyelet placement, but no boot is immune to that. Yuketens, on the other hand, I'm thoroughly impressed with the finishing of their boots. The similarity between the boots in my pair, they're dead-on mirror images of each other. The attention to detail is palpable, and it really takes holding them in your hand to understand how well put together they feel. The quality of the leather they pick especially. Don't get me wrong, I love the handmade charm of my Russell Mocks, but the polish and consistency of my Yuketens demands a point in this round. That means it's 2-1 in favor of the Maine guide boot from Yuketen. Round 4 is comfort. Boot guys would tell you that a Russell Moccasin boot is like wearing a big leather sock or a leather glove for your foot, and without exaggeration, those sentiments don't do it justice. When you put your foot into a bird shooter or a backcountry or a Zephyr, the immediate comfort is incredible, especially if you're used to breaking heritage boots with thick leather insoles. It's so important to size these boots correctly because you can't capture that feeling of a molded leather boot unless it's a little snug, And the snugness is also important for the support of your foot's arch. Russell moccasins don't come with an insole, obviously, but how the vamp is constructed, the moccasin supports my foot in a way that I never have a sense of pronation when wearing a Russell Mock. The tighter you tie your laces and wrap the vamp around your foot, the more arch support you get. So again, sizing is important. I personally like them half a size smaller than my Red Wings with one width size up. I can wear an Iron Ranger in size 8D, and the Russell pair is 7.5 E width. Unfortunately for the Yuketens, they don't have width options other than their default E width, but that E width is really just normal D width in heritage boot terms. I mentioned before that these boots have a leather insole, tuck, foam heel pad, and a shank underneath your foot, and though that can be great if you really need a lot of arch support, it defeats the purpose of a moccasin construction, should you desire that unique comfort it provides. You have to break in the insole, and inside it just feels like your average heritage boot because of that. It also means between your foot and the ground will be quite a bit more material, further defeating the benefits of a moccasin-based boot, such as the ground feel you get from the Russells. Even with a luggy outsole, you still feel connected to the ground you're covering when you're in a Russell moccasin, and it's not in an annoying way. Sure, you can feel a small rock if you really want to notice, but it gives you a lot more information to approach the terrain more accurately and safer. The Yuketen's hidden deceptive height could use a slightly wider outsole, as when I'm standing still in these boots, I'm constantly making micro adjustments to my footing. I feel unbalanced, but the boots are fine when you're walking. I think the lack of a heel counter contributes to the instability, and I appreciate that locked in feeling you get in the bird shooters, especially for my heel. The Russells are the obvious winner in the comfort round. It's tied up 2-2, with the last part coming up. Round 5 is value. Let's not mince words here. Value in the moccasin boot world doesn't involve either of these names, and in all actuality, from a purely pricing standpoint, both of these boots start at $900. But value can also mean what you get for the money you spend. Both of these boots are made to order, hand-sewn, hand-lasted, and require artisans with years of experience, but there is a clear winner for this round. The Russell moccasins will last multiple lifetimes, while still being used for the primary purpose of a boot like this, which is being outdoors. Hiking rocky trails, slogging through the wetlands, and braving the desert heat, their overlapping, multi-layer construction methods combined with smart choices in leather and outsoles meant for pure practicality will return dividends from your $900 investment. Yuketens are no slouch and compete well versus any other bootmaker's offerings. I just feel more comfortable with my money going towards a boot that can go beyond the city pavement. The winner of the round is Russell Moccasin. The final score is 3 points to 2 in favor of Russell Moccasin over Yuketen. It was a close matchup, and a lot of this is based on personal preference, and it's hard to go wrong with either boot choice. Regardless of what boot you end up picking or what boot you already have, just rest assured you have something special when you own a Handsewn Moccasin boot. Thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe.